I'm scared that I won't have enough time. I recently had this conversation with a friend about how I was scared of death, but not in the way that most people would think. Like, I'm not scared that someone's just gonna like jump me and like murder me. That's not like, the death that I'm like scared of. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen, knock on wood. But the death I'm scared of is the death of opportunity. So by the time I get old, I would have a lot of regrets, and I would regret that I didn't spend my time to its full potential and I kind of wasted a lot of opportunities. So I'm really scared that I won't have the time to do all the things that I want to do. And as a result, that's why right now I feel like I'm almost being productive for the sake of being productive. Like, I don't know if you understand what I mean. Like maybe you're in this same position as well, but I sometimes just try and get work done, any work done, not even because it contributes to a goal, but just for the sake of like working and getting things done and being productive. And initially I thought, yeah, that's a positive trait. Like, cool, I'm just doing it because, I love work. But when I reflected on this deeper, it's exactly what I mentioned at the start of this video. The reason that I was being so productive was honestly because I was scared that I wouldn't have enough time to do the things that I wanted to do. And so I needed to make the most of every single second and just work my ass off. And although that sounds good, there's both like pros and cons to it. So the which one should I start off with? I'll start off with the cons. So the cons, as you can probably imagine, because of this, I sacrificed like a lot of things. Like I sacrificed my relationship with my girlfriend, with friends, with like family, my health at one stage, just because I wanted to focus on getting more things done rather than actually enjoying the present and enjoying the other things that life has to offer apart from just like work. And it sounds kind of counterintuitive. Like I should be focusing on these relationships because that's also something that's going to like diminish over time. Like these people aren't going to be there forever. Um, and so that was like a realization I had that yes, work is important, but being productive for the sake of being productive is not is not fruitful. It's not like the goal of life. Like at the end of life, you're not gonna like they're not gonna get everyone to line up according to how many hours you've worked, and the person that's worked the most is the most happy, most satisfied. And then the person that's worked nothing is the least satisfied. Maybe there's some correlation, but the thing is like in this case, it's really not about how much you get done, but how you actually went through those experiences. So yeah, it's really just not about how much you get done, but how you see those experiences and how you um, and whether you actually enjoyed that work in the first place. And even though that's like a negative thing, one thing that this has really like prompted me to like do is to focus on the idea of leverage, because leverage is the closest thing to a time freezer that you'll get. And what I mean by this is leverage is basically the idea of getting more work done per unit of time. But basically, it's like, if you want to cut grass, you wouldn't use like, clippers or scissors. You would use a lawnmower. A lawnmower represents leverage because it allows you to get more work done per unit of time. It's just a much more effective tool. And so when it comes to like, life, learning how to learn is a high leverage skill because after you learn how to learn, anything else you want to learn, you'll be able to do it much quicker because you've learned that skill. It's kind of like, in a video game, let's say you increase the stats of your damage. That is a high leverage thing to do because after you increase the damage of your weapon, now every time you try and kill like a zombie or a mob or an enemy, you do more damage and you save more time. So it's a high leverage thing to do that will save you time in the future. And so when it comes to high leverage things, they're valuable skills like learning how to learn, communication, that's a very high leverage skill, but even other underrated things like your health. That's so underrated because if let's just say I sleep 1% better, and that means I'm 1% more energized, 1% more focused. Like over time, that builds. If I'm just 1% more focused, I'm going to save 1% of time. And over a year, that's 365% of time that I can save. And so the idea of like leverage is so powerful. because it honestly allows you to bring the future into the present. If you're able to do things in, let's say, an hour that will take people 10, or do things in a day that will take other people 10 days, or do things in 1 month that will take other people, 10 months, or do things in 1 year that will take other people 10 years. You're literally pulling the future and bringing it to the present. And you're making the future your own. And so, although the idea of running out of time is scary, I realize that it's important to put into perspective, and there's positive things that can come out of this and negative things. The negative thing is, like I said, when you sacrifice everything for the sake of doing work. But the positive thing is when you realize you don't have enough time, and that's why you focus on the most high leverage things that you can do that can basically pull the future into the present. And when I had that idea, I realized that I'm no longer like scared of not having enough time, because I know that now I'm entering the path of finding the most high leverage things I can do and basically just giving it my all, because I know if I go down that path, that will just maximize the time that I'll have with myself, with, loved ones, and ultimately just with this life. So I know that was kind of a deep discussion, but yeah, keen to hear your thoughts on that.